the local bourse is continuing with its positive performance as more first quarter earnings filter in, showing impressive revenue growth of some listed companies. Muktar Mohammed, analyst at Assar Investments, joins me now for more market updates. And Muktar, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today.
My pleasure, Esther. Good afternoon.
As you know, it's the final trading day for the month of April, and the market is closing out with some strong first quarter numbers. We've seen earnings from some big names such as MTN Nigeria, Guinness Nigeria, Nigerian Breweries, and from the banks, EcoBank, Wema, Access Holding. Which of these earnings are you applauding so far?
I think they are all very good, but MTN stands out. MTN, especially in its increase about 9.7 in its subscriber base, and also its Momo Money app increasing by about 1 million. For me, those are the two cash cows that can make MTN grow, especially with the competitive nature in the telecom space. For them to be able to achieve that, for me, that was very, very good. Access Holding also, after surprising investors with those numbers that came towards the final year, and also doing this in the first quarter, even if it's not as Access normally start the year a little bit slow, but going into the second half of the year, you begin to see those numbers change. For Guinness, I think the cash crunch has affected both Guinness and Nigerian Brewery, and we see that in the numbers, even if the performance are not that too bad. But again, it shows that the informal sectors is largely driven by cash, and most of the goods and services are always find their way in the informal sector. So those are the numbers that really ticks me for now.
Now, when one looks at, and even for someone, perhaps an analyst looking in, out from the outside into the Nigerian economy, looking at, some of the macro indicators, inflation, the weak naira, just the overall, difficult operating environment, and you just, put all of these side by side with these earnings from, these big names, one wonders, what is the recipe? What is the secret here? Why are we seeing, and of course, depressed consumer spending? All of this, put all of this together, and one looks at these numbers, it would feel like there's some kind of a disconnect somewhere. What is the magic that's happening with these numbers?
Well, the magic that happens with these numbers, as most of these things are day to day. You can't just run away from them. No matter how expensive they are, you need to find a way how to get them. You're talking about MTN. Most Nigerians do 90% of their business by phones. The social media influencers, the social media space, Twitter. And if you look at that number, you realize the data space in MTN seems to be going better and better as the years close, because a lot of people are beginning to move to data. So definitely, no matter how much, and in most businesses are now beginning to be that data driven. So definitely, again, you see that. And again, I always say, in the midst of crisis, there's always an opportunity. If you look at the financial sector, with a lot of activities that have come in, if you look at that numbers from Access, you realize that the non-interest income, that in terms of fee, especially from the digital space, have also improved significantly. That tells you that a lot of Nigerians are beginning to go digital. And so whether you like it or not, no matter how much you have, you still have to play the digital space. I think that's the game changers in most of these results. And when you look at the economy, and like I always say, the market always have a life of its own, but it cannot be separated from the economy in the long term.
Absolutely, which is what I was trying to get to. But we have just 3 minutes left. What would you say were the key highlights for you, the markets this month? Perhaps the biggest winners and losers?
Wow, I think the biggest winners are those that took position in the banking stock, especially Access Bank. It surprised investors. Also, we saw one very fantastic result, double-digit growth, Fidelity Bank. I think that's a bank that we need to watch. It's beginning to leave its peers in the second-tier bank. We're beginning to look at Fidelity Bank as a first-tier bank in the near future. Also, MTN, we've talked about it also. And it has just been an interesting time for investors, especially Nigerian investors. And when you look at the numbers that said that Nigerian investors are the one really driving the market, it's so encouraging. And also, I think the companies have rewarded them with good dividend payout. Access Bank 1 naira 30 kobo, GT Co 2 naira 80 kobo, Zenith Bank 2 naira 90 kobo. Even Nigerian Brewery, in spite of the poor result, also investors were still smiling to the bank. So I think, like I always say, Nigerian investors are sentiments always driven by dividend payment. And so for me, I think they all have really tried, especially like you said, in this very, very tough microeconomic environment. So for me, all the stock seems to be coming up with the right numbers and the right results at this time.
All right. Thank you so much, Mukta. Hopefully, we'll see this take going into the new trading month. Thank you so much for talking to us and have a great weekend. Muktar Mohammed,
My pleasure,
analyst
Esther. Thank
at
you.
Assar Investments. Now,